So if you're working with apps spread across AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud, you definitely know the feeling. It's this incredibly complex, tangled web of services. And when something breaks, well, finding the root cause can feel like searching for a needle in a whole stack of other needles. So how do we actually bring some order to all that chaos? Let's dive in and find out. All right, here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll get a handle on the problem itself, the multi-cloud maze. Then, we'll define your mission as the architect in charge. After that, we'll unlock the 6 essential keys to getting some clarity. We'll even see how to decode the data with these keys. And finally, talk about the huge payoff you get from this unified view. Okay, let's paint a picture. Your authentication service, that's on one cloud. Your database is on a completely different one, and your user profiles are sitting on a third. Now, each one of these is spitting out logs, alerts, and metrics, all in its own unique format. It's basically a digital Tower of Babel, and you're the one stuck trying to be the translator. Think about it. A customer tells you they had a failed login. Where do you start? Is the problem in your front-end app running on Google Cloud? Maybe it's the authentication service over on AWS? Or wait, could it be the database connection timing out on Azure? You see, without a clear path to follow, you're just guessing, jumping from one dashboard to another, just hoping to stumble on a clue. And you know, this right here is the heart of the problem. AWS CloudWatch logs just don't look the same as Azure Monitor logs, and neither of them looks like Google's cloud logging. So trying to trace one single user's action through that whole landscape, it's next to impossible, because there's no common dictionary. All that crucial context is just lost. But what if you could create that dictionary? What if you could actually impose a universal standard across everything? See, this isn't just about cleaning up some messy logs. It's about fundamentally changing how you see your entire system. This is your mission. So for the rest of this, let's put you in the driver's seat. You are the senior multi-cloud architect, and your number one goal is to cut through all that noise and build a system that gives you one single, coherent story of what's happening, no matter which cloud it's happening on. And your best tool for the job? Standardization. Now, to pull this off, you don't need some fancy, complex new tool. Nope. All you need is an agreement, a simple but incredibly powerful framework that's built on just 6 standard fields that every single log entry from every service on every cloud is going to include. These are your keys to clarity. And here they are. You've got your request ID, tenant ID, user ID, region, cloud provider, and service name. I want you to think of these as the DNA of your data. Together, they answer the who, what, where, and how for literally every single action in your system. This is what creates that shared context that ties everything else together. Let's start with maybe the most important key of all, the request ID. The best way to think of it is like a package tracking number. When a user clicks login, that action gets a unique ID, and that ID follows it absolutely everywhere it goes, from the web server to the auth service to the database and all the way back. It's the golden thread that connects every single event. Okay, next up we need to know who this is all for. The tenant ID tells you the company or organization, something like Acme-Corp, and then the user ID drills down to the specific person, like Jane.d. This is so crucial for figuring out if a problem is affecting just one user or maybe an entire customer account. Then we have the fundamental where questions. Which cloud provider did this log come from? Was it AWS, Azure, GCP? And where in the world did it actually happen? US East 1 or maybe West Europe? You know, in a distributed system, knowing the physical location is just non-negotiable if you want to diagnose latency issues or region-specific outages. And finally, we've got the service name. Is this log coming from the auth API, the user profile service, or maybe the billing engine? This key lets you just instantly zoom in on the exact component that's responsible for that log entry, which makes it incredibly fast to find which part of your architecture needs some attention.
All right, so the theory is great and all, but how does this actually look in the real world? Let's take a raw log entry and see how our 6 keys can instantly decode it for us.
So, at first glance, this is just a jumble of text and values, right? A pretty typical JSON log. Without our framework, your eyes might just go to the message, login successful. But the real power, the real story, is in the structure that's all around it. And just like that, that cryptic line of text becomes a crystal clear story. We know instantly that user Jane D from Acme Corp made a request. We know it was handled by the auth API, which is running on AWS in the US East 1 region. And we know the entire journey has a unique tracking number. All the context you could possibly need is right there in one single place.
So you've done the work. You've implemented this standard across all your services. What's the result? What's the big payoff here? Well, it's nothing short of a complete shift in how you operate.
I mean, the transformation is just stark. Before, you had these data silos, and you were just guessing. Now you have a single unified view. You can filter all your logs by a single request ID and see the entire story play out in seconds. It really is the difference between fumbling around in the dark and just flipping on a light switch. And that brings us to the most crucial point of all. Making everyone use these 6 fields isn't about adding bureaucratic rules or restrictions. Not at all. It's about giving your teams a superpower. It empowers them with clarity, it seriously reduces stress during an outage, and it frees them up to build cool new features instead of hunting for ghosts in the machine. By establishing this common language for your logs, you've really tamed the multi-cloud maze. But this principle of standardization, it doesn't just stop at logging. You can apply it to metrics, to tracing, to your configuration. So the real question this leaves us with is, now that you've seen the power of having a unified view, where are you going to apply it next?